Hi guys. So the other time I went to visit the university's library, and one of the things that I like about it is that they sometimes sell pretty cheap books. But they're mostly in German, and I'm not quite there yet with my German. And there's another stash of books that I like. It's the one that has free books to give away. So I recently grabbed a book from that stash, and I'm gonna show you. It caught my eye, the first it's this very nice looking green hardcover. I mean, you can't see it because right now it's like yellow light. So yeah, and the one that got me like, oh, I must have this book, I must have it in my home, is the title of the book. Let me show you. So it's called The Most Splendid Failure. Okay, so it's The Most Splendid Failure from Andre Huston, and basically he talks about William Faulkner's very good book. It's called The Sound, the Fury. Why the book caught my eye and why the title appeals to me so much is that growing up, I had been indoctrinated with the idea that failure is not an option ever. And I even put up my own poster saying that, with a slogan saying failure is not an option. I remember I did that like 10 years ago when I was sitting for my general GCE O levels, and it was a really big thing for me, being academically inclined. Then the rest of the class is very important to me. Grades are important to me. Still is, but not playing an important role as it did for me back then. Thinking back, I really stayed as close as possible to that slogan, failure is not an option, because I realized I cannot afford to fail. Because, well, not everyone is from a privileged family. And I think there are some of you out there who are also more or less in the same boat as I am. But I mean, I realized that it's not that I get good grades for all my subjects. I'm not very good at math. And I'm not talking about just basic 1+1 kind of math. I mean, I'm not really good at mental sums either, especially in subtraction. I'm very bad at that. And I said I'm not very good at math is with regards to calculus, trigonometry, algorithm, functions. I mean, when I was younger, I thought functions mean something that has a purpose, and then suddenly math said functions means differently. I don't even know why it's called functions, and of course I asked my teacher. None of them can tell me. They all said it is what it is because the textbook said so. If I cannot connect what I'm learning to the purpose in life, if I cannot translate what is on the text to my own reality, then my brain just switch off, because I have a tendency to think that what is not relevant would be a waste of my time. So far so good. I sort of passed math, I guess. And beyond grades, beyond academia, I think I failed quite a number of times in life. Of course, we all have that small fail moments. I failed to have a clique of friends that I can call actual friends, but I do have individual souls who become my really good friends. I guess I'm not the kind who is in a clique. I mean, maybe I appear to be in a clique, but 5 years down the road, apparently they stay the same, and I actually more or less change. Actually, that's not true. I think people change to become more of themselves. That's what I realized. And they show their true colors, and they have more access to being themselves, or to realize what their true form is. And this is not even my final form. So what is this, the most splendid failure that has been described by William Faulkner? It's a quote regarding his own comments about his book, The Sound and the Fury. So someone interviewed Faulkner and asked, "Mr. Faulkner, what do you consider your best book?" And he said, "The one that failed the most tragically and the most splendidly. That was The Sound and the Fury, the one that I worked at the longest, the hardest, that was to meet the most passionate and moving idea, and made the most splendid failure." A little bit about The Sound and the Fury. So the book is set in Jefferson, Mississippi. It's about a family, the Compsons. So they are former Southern aristocrats. Former. So basically, you can see that they used to have it large, but something happened, and yeah, they are doing their best to keep both their families as well as their reputation in the community together. Time frame around 3 decades or so. As you read further on, you will realize that the state of their family relations is in comparison to their financial status. So as they get poorer and poorer, they begin to lose their faith, and they begin to lose the respect of the community. It's a very good book, but it's also a very tragic book, full of tragic deaths. So the book reveals the story from different characters' point of view. So it employs the convention of telling the story through people's streams of consciousness. So if you read Virginia Woolf, you will see a lot of it, even though this particular story takes place in, say, 24 hours, it will take many, many, many pages because you go through the character's thoughts. So one of my favorites is Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. That was a very enjoyable book as well. It's amazing that as the story is told by different characters, it fails each time. The author decided to tell the story himself, and yet he still failed. So another interesting thing is that what happens in real life sort of mirrored what happened in the book. So when the book was first published, it didn't receive very good reception from the public. So it received a disappointing reception. That was a failure because Faulkner put in his heart and soul, put in a lot of effort and creativity into this book. Of course, the book later became really popular, but you have to see and observe how life was imitating art. Of course, you can also argue that there are many instances where art imitates life. Also, during the process of making the book, Faulkner did all he could to ensure that nobody pressured him. He has all the control, all the creative control in writing the book and publishing the book. He persisted in staying true to himself and his art, although he failed several times before. So I think that there is one wisdom that we all can learn from this splendid failure. It's that not only is it about persistence, about determination, about not giving up on your dreams, it's also about staying true to yourself no matter what, and making sure that you don't allow other people to take control of your life, which also means that you have a responsibility of making sure that your life is as true to yourself as possible. Also, another important thing is it's also about recognizing the risks involved. What I'm saying is that in life, when you're pursuing your dreams and your passion, you cannot just go out there and be reckless about it. Of course, people say you shouldn't always daydream, you should just do, but before you do, you have to think through carefully first, and also read up about perfecting your interest, perfecting your craft. It's about taking time and effort, a labor of love, to produce and to tell the story your own way. And you shouldn't worry too much about what other people say, how people judge you, and it's also not about how financially profitable it is. You have to make the best out of it, because life is just too short. It's too short to be always thinking about mistakes being this very bad blotch in your life. So you have to understand that making mistakes actually is important in getting to where you are now. Mistakes are the very things that make up who you are right now, and you realize when you look back how far you've come, the same way as I have reflected how far I have come, with all my struggles with math. I mean, the struggle was real, you know. It's so stupid that this idea of holistic education, that you have to be excellent in all subjects. It's so annoying. Because I just love literature. I love history, things that really resonates with me. Not math. For some people, math is a game. Yeah, okay, good for them. Don't give up even though you've made mistakes. I hope that you don't get dragged down too much by your past mistakes, by your regrets, if you want to call them regrets, because I don't call them regrets. Of course, who knows what path we take if we had not made that mistake, right? But yeah, I hope that you would just look forward and learn from those experiences, and I hope that you would come across with more splendid failures in your life. Yeah. Bye.